I'll see you in the land of Mordor. Death awaits you at the border. Pass on through the gates of fun, destroy the ring of power and wonder.
Lord of the Rings strategy battle game fans, Roman Daisel is back to take you into the lands of Middle-earth. We're moving along with our series on the forces of Gondor. And today we got the Cavalry of Gondor, or the Knights of Minas Tirith, depending how you look at it. Games Workshop says Knights of Minas Tirith. As you can see, I have a very large collection of Knights of Minas Tirith. I have 5 complete box sets of these, as well as 2 blister packs. So we'll take a look first. So way back, I can't remember when, for $100, I bought 4 box sets of Knights of Minas Tirith and 2 blister packs. For $100, I got it for Christmas off eBay. So that was a really good deal. And then the other set I got was from my buddy Andrew, who got his from our buddy Sean. And then I painted them up. So there are 30 in all. The earliest box sets, they came in only with 5, and they're metal. So you have 5 knights, metal, they have no shields. So those are the ones with no shields. The second ones, you can see straight ahead there, are the ones with shields. They came in, they're plastic, and they come in groups of 6. And then the blister pack, one was just a metal Knight of Minas Tirith. He's the one I actually painted with a gold helmet. He's a captain or a commander. And then the other one is a standard bearer. So a Knight of Minas Tirith standard. I have 2 of them. One came in the blister pack. The other was again from my buddy Andrew via Sean. So I almost have as many Knights of Minas Tirith as I do Riders of Rohan. And if you count the Knights of Dol Amroth, pretty much I do. I have just as many. As well as all the heroes. Now, did Gondor have a large cavalry force? Not at Minas Tirith, no. They had a very small cavalry force because cavalry is useless as hell in Osgiliath. And in the Pelennor fields, they're useful, but not overwhelmingly so. Gondor never had a huge cavalry army, especially in the late Third Age after Calenarden, the province of Calenarden, had been given to the Eothid, or Ethiod, however you pronounce that, who later became the Rohirrim. So they lost their principal horse-raising place, as well as their province of Dor Runin on the eastern flanks of the Anduin, way out in the plain towards the Sea of Ruin. When they lost those 2 principal areas, a lot of the horses, so their cavalry armies could never recover. Gondor instead relied mostly on Northman cavalry and Southern cavalry. Northern cavalry were mainly medium-sized cavalry, and the HArondor were light cavalry. Gondor provided most of the heavy cavalry, the knights. Rohan had some heavy cavalry in their elite units. So like Theoden's household guard, Eomer's Ered would be examples of that. Mostly Rohan provides medium cavalry. So like I'm saying, there is cavalry in Minas Tirith. Some of it rides out to the relief of Faramir. When Denethor has a sortie of mostly cavalry by the wall, hiding in the shadow of the walls. When Faramir comes back with the remnants of the men from the wreck of the Causeway Forts and the Battle of Osgiliath, Prince Imrahil leads his knights, and all the cavalry of Minas Tirith ride out and surprise the enemy that's forcing back Faramir and turn it into a rout. But because of fresh forces coming out from Osgiliath, Denethor doesn't allow his cavalry to go far, and then they're back. They screen Faramir's out companies, who march proudly in the city. So when Faramir marched back to the city, he had lost 1/3 of his men, which greatly troubled the people of Minas Tirith, but it means that he brought back 2/3 came back. So that's not bad, considering that he was driven from Osgiliath, driven away from the Causeway Forts, and forced to fall back several leagues across the Minas Tirith itself. So after some very hard fighting, that's not bad. But anyway, that's the backstory of the Gondorian cavalry. Let's take a look. The biggest problem with horses is trying to find different colors to paint them. I hate painting them all the same color. Horses are not the same color all the time. And that's a common mistake. So these ones, you can see they're metal. You have to paint the hand and the spear on them, which I don't like. It's one of the things I hated about it. And you can kind of create your own pose with them. But at the same time, it's hard to paint the hand. This hand is just barely hanging on this guy. On that one, the hand's just barely on there. And the spear, if I drop it, it'll fall off. It'll come off. It's a bitch to glue on because they're metal. And there's no real socket. I'm not a professional who can drill a small hole and put a spike in and then drill another small hole and fit it together perfectly. The plastic ones are easier to paint. The shield doesn't come out. Again, you have to glue the arm, not the hand. So it's a little better. You can position the spear a little more, do a little more things. The spears tend to break off easily though. The guy with the banner, it's pretty cool. And like I said, the blister pack was metal, so I made him the commander. They don't have shields. I wish they had come with shields, but they don't. Again, another group of plastic guys. You can see I got horses all the different colors. I even have a palmino in there somewhere. And then the last one I got from Andrew via Sean, I decided to paint them red. So these ones represent cavalry that would have came from the province of Lebanon, where Pelargir is. Because Lebanon would have a small cavalry army as well too. They have fields. There's space there. They could have a small cavalry contingent. So could Lamedon, so could Amphalis. Even Lossarnar could have a couple of cavalry. But it's more rare on the coastlines. Prince of Dol Amroth in the province of Balfalis, or the fiefdom of Balfalis, it would have also its own cavalry. So there is other cavalry in Gondor. Ithilien would have had theirs in the southern part, Harithian, back in the day. Also in the province of Aragorn, when it was a thing, they would have their own cavalry forces. So these guys got painted red. If I ever get another one, it'll be painted green or something like that. Now, I also denote squadrons. I'm painting these guys with a blue blanket. So that's one squadron. These ones also have a different color. It's brown. Those ones are black, I believe. Can't really see. And these guys are silver. A silver squadron. I got the idea from like Star Wars, where they have blue squadron, red squadron, gold leader, all that stuff. That's where the idea came from. Let's try something different. That was like years ago. And then I got this last set, and I decided, well, let's paint them all red. Even the spears are red. Let's make it different. And the banner for this one, which also I painted with red trim. Something different. So in a battle, I've used these a couple of times. Like I played this a couple of times with my kids using these, and I played solitaire a bunch of times where I've had the Gondorian cavalry against the Haradrim cavalry, or the ones from Khand, or the Easterlings. So a lot of different stuff there. The problem with the strategy battle game is it's hard to get real terrain. Like if you read anything about cavalry battles in the past, things like folds in the ground where you can't see what's there. That happened several times in the Napoleonic Wars, where a fold in the ground or a small gully would hide cavalry troops until the last minute. in the strategy battle game, you can't really do that because the terrain board doesn't let you have all these topographical features. So there's no real surprises. That's the only problem I find with the strategy battle game. Because you can see the board, you can see what's there. Even though technically you're not allowed to shoot things if you can't see it. You can't shoot around corners. But you know it's there. That's the drawback to this game system. The only thing I could think of to make it better would be to mask. Just have a counter or a slip of paper telling you what's there underneath, and then once you find out, the guy brings up his stuff, reveals a slip of paper saying what's there, and then brings it out. Because it's one of the flaws of the strategy battle game system, that's all. There's no masking your troops. Anyway, that's the look at my cavalry army of Gondor. Pretty impressive, I think. Bigger than I really intended to, or really need. But anyway, any strategy battle game enthusiasts, let me know what you guys think of this army, and do you play it? Is it enjoyable to play with? And any thoughts on how to mask troops and do on a strategy battle game? Leave comments in the comment section. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Until next time, I'm Roman Daisel. I am out of here.